Welcome back to the channel. What's smoking on my dragons? Divine righteous almighty greats overachieving, never slacking. Y'all know I love dragons, and it is fourth quarter of the year of the dragon. We coming to a close with the year already. It's been an exciting year. But I'm not gonna start talking about closing it up. Yeah, we still got a lot to do, right? Before the year ends. And like I always say, we haven't even started to warm up on this channel yet. But with that being said, today we got the French and Indian War explained, and this is from the History Channel. Original link will be in the description. And yeah, let's get to it. Let's find out what happened in the French and Indian War.
From the very beginning, colonialism in America meant competition. European countries were eager to gobble up as much land as possible in the New World. Sometimes this competition turned into open warfare, and the French and Indian War is a perfect example of this. Here's a crash course of 5 things about the war to get you up to speed. North America was a big, beautiful place full of endless opportunities, and Great Britain and France each wanted a piece of the action. The British controlled their 13 colonies and were looking to expand west. The French occupied Canada and were looking to expand south. It was inevitable that they'd bump into each other, and that's exactly what happened in the Ohio River Valley, an important trading area with access to the Mississippi River. The French and Indian War marked.
Why do I always feel like every interesting story starts with a George? Like, how many stories and how many tales have been told where the main, that is such a main character name right there. George.
The debut of 21-year-old George Washington, a lieutenant colonel for the militia in the British colony of Virginia. In 1754, he was ordered to protect a British fort near what is now Pittsburgh. On the way, Washington encountered a French military unit, and the two sides fought in the first battle of the French and Indian War, the Battle of Jumonville Glen. Washington was young, but he was quickly gaining the experience he would need to eventually command the Continental Army. Years of territorial scuffles turned into full-blown declarations of war in 1756. As fighting broke out, the British and French sought allies among the local Native American populations. The French were familiar with many tribes through trade and recruited the Potawatomi, Winnebago, Ojibwa, Mississauga, and the Huron, while the British turned to the Iroquois Confederacy. At first,
That's crazy. This was like just complete chess. Everybody just going at it for this land, having alliances, and just chess. Wild history, man. So much blood just shed.
the French were winning, a lot. They simply had more troops and better supplies than the British Army and drove them back towards the 13 colonies. But the tide turned in 1757 when British Secretary of State William Pitt took control of the war effort. Dreaming of a vast British Empire, he made it his mission to defeat the French in North America, pouring in generous funds to beef up military resources on the ground. The war ended with the French defeat at the Battle of Quebec and the signing of the Treaty of Paris in 1763. The British gained control of Canada and all land east of the Mississippi River. It may seem that the British made out well after all was said and done, but there was a catch. You see, William Pitt borrowed heavily to finance the French and Indian War, which left his nation in tons of debt. To make up for it, the British taxed American colonists up the wazoo. Americans didn't particularly appreciate this. Years of protests, rallies, town hall meetings, and petitions would eventually lead to the American Revolution and the creation of the United States. The French and Indian War may not have had the glorious battles or fearless heroes of other great conflicts, but it was one of the most consequential wars in American history. It also opened the eyes of a young military leader to the tyranny of the British, a man who would go on to be the first American president.
Crazy, crazy, crazy. Looking at history and just looking at what was happening, damn, America is wild. America is, it's just such a boiling pot made up of the natives, right? What was called Africans, so-called Africans, so-called Native Americans, so-called European, just all these different. It's just such a boiling pot, and this is why they say America. They'll be like, America's the greatest, the greatest place on earth. But then so many people disagree, and when you look at how people are living, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of brats, like kids. Like think of kids that are just fighting over a toy, right? Except this toy is this beautiful America with all these resources, and they're all fighting over it, and they all get their share. But as they get older and older, right? As they start to grow, they don't. They're still brats. They're still greedy. They end up everything that they preach. They end up just how can we control people and continue to tax them and get richer and richer off of them. And these brats just grew older and older and didn't realize that karma was going to come back and strike back. And and eventually, when you got brats like that, what do? They drop the ball. So that's my prediction. As far as just history, because it's just too many brats that came. I want a piece of this. I'm gonna fight you. All right, no, I want this. So if you want to fight, let's fight. Hey, we'll pay you guys this if you guys wanna be wanna be have an alliance with us. Oh, okay. Well, we'll pay you guys even more if you want to have an alliance with us and fight them. Hey, you guys don't like each other already anyway. You guys were at war, right? Yeah, come fight with us. Just wild, 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 wild. Yeah, that's how you sum that up. Don't gotta get extra logical. don't gotta, don't got. And what do brats do? They do anything. They do anything to get their way. Anything. So we don't gotta fight about. Like I mean, like I said, we don't gotta get too logical on that. We don't gotta. People be so logical. The historians and anything to make sure that whatever they was taught, that narrative is always pushed. Right? I have my degree in this, my PhD in this. I can tell I'm just fed up, guys, because I seen the true America. I seen the true America. When you have when you've lived on both sides of the tracks, that you've dealt with so many different type of people, you know, and you've did so much studying, uh, you just and you really see what it is, you get fed up, you know. I seen one lady say people worried about aliens. If the aliens came down, she said, or came and she said she would side with the aliens. She said all humans do is destroy and kill each other. That's all they do. You know, like she's like that's all. It's just greed. Just I want this, I want that. Make up excuses. They were already fighting, so we need to come do this and enslave and do da da da. They were already enslaving each other over there too. So everybody's just pointing the finger, pointing the finger, pointing the finger. See, I speak a higher, like I kind of get off the human stupid stuff. People are just out here pushing narratives like crazy, guys. And it's crazy the stuff I see on the internet, which is the reason I'm talking how I'm talking now. I just constantly see all these different narratives about things. It's wild. But with that being said, that was a brief explanation of the French and Indian War. And let me know what you think in the comments. Original link in the description. And I'll be back with more soon. Much love.